This is by far the worst economic downturn in Jamaica's history.
In 2020, the Jamaican government spent $70 billion more than it collected in revenue. Expenditure for the 2021 fiscal year is projected to be 5% higher than 2020. As at April 2020, the government's debt stock stood at $2.087 trillion. In December, it declined slightly to stand at $2.072 trillion.
The only way all of this has been possible, Madam Speaker, is that we started the financial year with an opening cash balance in excess of $90 billion. We spent $466 billion with revenues coming in that were only $397 billion, i.e., we spent $70 billion more than we have collected in revenues. And the expenditure for 2021, even after the third supplementary estimates, is $22 billion or 5% higher than expenditures in 2019-20. So in the pandemic, despite the fact that revenues are $72 billion less, we have expanded expenditure by $22 billion more than last year.
Minister of Finance and the Public Service Dr. Nigel Clarke outlined the state of the local economy as he opened debate on the third supplementary estimates in the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
Among other things, the crisis has impacted economic output, which is forecasted to decline precipitously this fiscal year, having declined by 18.4% in the first quarter and 10.7% in the second quarter. Unemployment leapt from 7.3% in January of 2020 to 12.7% in July of 2020, before improving to 10.7% in October.
According to Dr. Clarke, government revenue declined by approximately $72 billion or 15% for the first 9 months of the fiscal year when compared to the previous year.
I ask you to reflect on that for a moment. $72 billion gone, but we have to keep the wheels of government turning. Police and fire service and education, hospitals and garbage collection. We have to continue to pay our massive debt or to service it. And on top of that, we have had to provide resources to respond to COVID, inclusive of unprecedented social and economic support, and over a total of $50 billion if you include amounts to the Ministry of Health, the amounts to public bodies, the social and economic support, and other areas.
Despite this, Dr. Clarke is hopeful for recovery.
Make no mistake about it, COVID-19 has delivered a monumental shock, and the path out is quite clear, but it's a narrow path with little room for error. We won't be able to do this and this and this and that. We will get out of the crisis, and Jamaica will recover and recover stronger. But that path is a narrow one, and we're going to have to be very focused and clear-minded about that. There are many competing demands, Madam Speaker, but we'll have to be very clear on our priorities if we are to avoid a bigger challenge. And again, make no mistake about it, around the world, we're going to see many countries, including some in our region, who are going to end up in big trouble out of this pandemic. And the idea is that we avoid that because it would make recovery much longer.